Morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to do a real quick video today. This morning, I realized a couple of videos I got coming up. I use the term growlers. Some people may not know what a growler is, and it also occurred to me when speaking to a coworker about getting growlers filled. You didn't know what that was, so we're going to make a real quick video for those of you who don't know what a growler is. Maybe you're not into that whole craft beer thing. But in essence, some breweries are small enough that they're not packaging their beer and distributing widely. So you go to the brewery to get a growler filled, and simply put, a growler is just a refillable, refillable vessel. So the two most common sizes are going to be your 64 ounce, which is a half gallon. This is a 64 ounce screw top. Just has a top that will get screwed on here. 32 ounce. They do make, I believe, aluminum ones, but the most common ones you're going to see are glass. And these are pretty much the most basic style. They are getting a little more fancy. This is one from Hill Farmstead. You can see it's 2 liters, which I believe is pretty much equal to the 64 ounces, which is a half gallon, which is 4 pints of beer. And this has a swing top on it, so it seals like this. This is a 750 milliliter Hill Farmstead one. It's a little fancier. A lot of times breweries, I know in Connecticut, breweries will fill other breweries' growlers. You can see it has the name Relic. This is a local Connecticut brewery, Hill Farmstead's Vermont, and this happens to be a Treehouse one, which is where we're going. And I'm bringing that up because some states like Massachusetts, I'm going to go back to Connecticut and Vermont. I've talked to other breweries about bringing growlers because you eventually amass all this glass that you don't need, and these are $5 or $6 a piece when you go to a brewery, and that can add up if you're getting 5 or 6 growlers of beer that day. At $5 or $6 a pop times that 6. So what Connecticut and Vermont have told me was, as long as it has the government warning, about drinking alcohol. In this case, it has the name Relic. They prefer them to be dark because light striking the beer is one of a detractor of the beer, oxygen and light. But in Massachusetts, apparently it's a law that it has to be indelibly marked with the brewery's name. So of course you have to buy their growler, and I must have, I bet you, 12 growlers downstairs in my garage. When you're done with them. Let me go back a little bit. When you get your growler filled, fresh beer is much more perishable than canned or bottled beer. So usually about a week. There'll be other people that deny that. I'm not saying it goes bad after a week, but for the most part, you want to drink it within a week or two. Have I drank a growler of beer after a week? Yes. They don't seal as well. These are just screw tops as commercially canned or bottled beer. So, and once you open it, it's even more perishable. You're probably gonna want to finish that within 24 hours. Again, I know people say that's not true. And again, it's not a precise science here. I'm just telling you that carbonation, these things don't seal as well. The swing tops probably do a little better job of that. And you want to take care of them. When you're done with it, I usually rinse it that day. Then I'm finished with it with really hot water. Swish it around, dump it out, and I really rinse it out several times. A lot of places won't fill it if it's dirty. Don't be that chooch that gets in line and got a cigarette butt in it, or you forgot to rinse it out. People are waiting in line, so these places sometimes multiple hours to get beer. Don't be the ass that gets there and has to have your growler clean. And a lot of times they'll give it the sniff test. I rinse mine out with hot water. I don't usually put soap in it. If you leave it for a day or two, you may have to do that. But I usually rinse it out with hot water. I might wash the outside with a little light detergent on a sponge, only because usually when they're getting filled, they're going to try to fill it up as close to the top as possible to avoid any air in there. And it usually dribbles out on there, and they're just wiping it off with a rag, and it gets a little funky. Then what I do is I store them in my garage, which can be a little dusty. I don't put the cap on them. Anything that's left in there is certainly going to get funky if you put the cap on. Just common sense. This time of year, especially as we're heading into the summer, it's a little more humid. So I leave this in the dish drainer for a couple days until it's completely dry inside. And There's no detectable odor here. Now, for me, this may or may not be true, but it makes me feel good. When I put it in the garage, I take a piece of clean paper towel and I do this. My thought is air can still kind of get in and out. Bugs can't get in. Dust can't get in. It may just be crap, and I have a bunch of growlers that look like Molotov cocktails laying down there. But yeah, so that's it. That's growlers in a nutshell. It's basically a reusable vessel, and that's it. Talk to you later. All right, morning, folks. It's early. It's about 6:30 Saturday morning. I'm going to be doing a few videos, and I realize in talking on those videos, fuck you. Good mornings, ladies and gentlemen.